So Bodhih actually provides training in a couple of areas. So we are primarily into non-technical training, and in the non-technical domain, we focus on sales training as one of them, leadership training, HR training, communication and soft skills training, or what's also called behavioral skills. We have worked with over 1,000 clients, and we have helped many clients set up internal training teams. We also have a very structured approach to training and a structured framework to training. And all the workshops that we do are hands-on and experiential. Okay, so that's very broadly what about us. These are some of the clients who we worked with. I hope there are names there which you recognize. So as you can see on the right top, we chosen vendors for Microsoft, for IIM Bangalore, also for ISRO. These are some more clients. I hope there are names there which you recognize. And we are also an ISO company. We have almost from the beginning of this year, we've been a 9001 2015 company, and we've been certified by this rather elite German body called TÜV Süd. So these are the areas on which we train. So this particular webinar focuses on our 3-level trainer certification. So those of you who are not aware of this, this trainer certification has been identified by this London-based research firm, Technavio, as among the top 7 workshops, and we've been identified as among the top 7 vendors for trainer certification in the world. Okay, I see somebody who just came in. Please mute yourself. I think it's a good idea to do that. Yeah, so we've been identified as one of the top 7 vendors in the world for trainer certification, and that's the link. So if you click on that link, it will take you through that website. So maybe somebody from the Bodhih team, if you're online, you can just put up that link on the chat screen so that the others can access that link and read about it. And Business Wire, as you can see here, is a Berkshire Hathaway company, and it's in Business Wire that this research was recently published. And by the way, it's not just for the year 2017. From 2017 till 2021, we have been identified as one of the companies which will be among the leading companies in the world to lead the trainer market. Okay, so that's really, I hope that tells you something about our track record. But just to tell you a little bit more before I go ahead and answer your questions, the workshop that we have has been an extremely hands-on workshop, and my partner Siddharth and I, we launched this workshop at some point because we said there are so many people out there who've got into training and who haven't gotten into, but who want to get into training, but there's no strong certification program out there. And I myself am from a slightly different background. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I used to be a CAD/CAM CAE trainer. But before I moved into training, I was fortunate enough to get trained and mentored by some, extremely professional. Okay, those of you who just logged in, please mute yourself. Thank you. Yeah, so I was saying that I was fortunate enough to be trained by from some professionals in the industry, but not all people have had access to that sort of training. So we said we should launch something which will benefit them, and that's what we've been doing from until the year 2012. We used to run this workshop only for our internal pool of trainers. So we have a pool of about 50 to 60 trainers across the country, and we used to take almost all of them through this certification. And sometime around May of 2012, we've launched this program to public, so that individuals such as yourself can benefit from it. So I'll tell you more about the program as we go along. But here's what we did for this particular webinar. We asked a group of people how they would want to, how they would like us to help them, and what questions they specifically have about our trainer certification. And all the questions are put up here, and that's what I'm going to run you through or answer. You might see your name here and your question here, but if you don't see your name or your question, you will still see a lot of other questions, because as far as I remember, every single question that was posted on our website has been picked up and used to run this webinar. Okay, let me start with the first one. This is actually a social service organization called Jan Suvidha Mansarovar Social Service. And the question that they had is really a one liner, actually a two-word question, which says partner registration. Now, it's difficult for me to guess what this question means, but if you're asking, do we have the practice of registering partners or working with partners? Well, yes, we do. If you're looking at partnering with us or bringing us in as the experts in some areas, we're happy to do that. In fact, we work with a partner, for example, in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, and that's a consulting company. And that company brings us in as the training experts for some of the training related interventions that they do. So the rules are very clear. They are the consulting partner and we are the training partner. So they bring us in when there's a training related problem or consulting work. Okay. Next, Mahesh Vasal. So Mahesh Vasal, how to market effectively ourselves. So Mahesh, let me tell you, one of our three-part certification programs, which is called the TTT or the Train the Trainer certification, there's a big part of what we cover there related to marketing yourself. And I would say comfortably about more than 50% of the people who attend this workshop are either freelancers, existing freelancers, or they want to enter the freelance market, or they are people who are working in a company but who want to quit that and become, and start their own practice or consulting work. So we would cover in detail techniques of how to market yourself. And here's what we've done. We've looked at some of our most successful trainers. And I told you Bodhi has a pool of about 50 to 60 trainers. And there are also an extended pool of trainers out there who we've spoken with. Maybe they don't work with us, but we've spoken with to understand what is it that makes them successful. And there are a set of 10 to 12 secrets which trainers use, especially the successful ones. And that's something which that we'll be covering in this workshop. So if you attend the Train the Trainer certification, on day 4 of the certification, if you also go to our website and look at our session outline, you'll see something called marketing yourself. So there are a lot of techniques that we cover, right from what to do in an elevator pitch, how to market yourself once somebody asks you for their profile, how to use techniques like public speaking to market yourself, how to write as a method to market yourself. So we will be covering a lot of those things, and there's simply no doubt that you'll benefit from it. Okay, so Mahesh, I hope that gives you some idea. By the way, if there is somebody in this group, I'm just looking at the chat screen. Namaskar to all. Yes, namaskar. I don't read your name here. Hello, Met. Hello, Laren. So it's nice to see all of you here. If you do have any question as I'm speaking, as I'm going through this webinar, please feel free to put it on the chat screen. I'll read it and respond to it. Okay, let me move on to the next question. Jasneet Singh. So Jasneet says he's looking for a job as a trainer. So Jasneet, here's what I can just tell you about our past experience. It's impossible for anybody to predict the future, but we can make a fairly informed guess about what might happen to our future participants as well. So here's what has happened to our past participants. Obviously, most people who attend our workshop are people who want to get into the field of training. Okay, there's simply no questions there. Okay, who's this gentleman? Rajiv. You look very handsome with your cap, but I think I'm going to please block your screen because I can see you there. I'm sure so can everybody else. So Rajiv, I'd appreciate it if you block yourself. Rajiv, if I'm just going to block your screen here. Okay, so just need to answer your question. Almost everybody who attended our workshop in the past has wanted to get into the field of training, and they've done it successfully in one of the following ways. One is they have either joined an organization in the training department. So, for example, if you're working with a company like Reliance, people have been able to successfully move into the training function of Reliance, maybe an existing organization. Second option, people have been able to leave their current companies and join a new company altogether in the training division. So somebody who's been maybe an ops manager for a company has been able to quit and join another company as a perhaps a training manager or a training assistant manager or a training head. That's happened. We've had a whole bunch of people who've moved into training and moved into the freelance training market. Okay, so that's another option, that you become a freelance trainer or an independent consultant. The next thing which has happened is we've had a lot of people who've been able to join training companies. So there's a company which only does training and consulting work. They've been able to join them as one of the trainers, okay, or training managers, or one of the training heads or L&D professionals in that company. The other thing which has also happened is that there was a category of people who came for the workshop, mostly the corporate sponsored ones, who had no intention of becoming trainers. People who are SMEs, people who are HR managers, people who are L&D executives. So even such people, some of them have actually quit their jobs and moved into training as a full-time career. There are some of them who moved into the training division of the companies and so on. So yes, the idea is for you to get a full-time role in a training organization. So that's something which you can expect after attending this workshop. Next question is from Guru Prasad. So, Guru Prasad, how to handle critical training sessions? So, Guru Prasad, the fact that you are asking this suggests to me that you're already a trainer, and that's a good thing. So, the way our workshops are structured, there is a lot of it in the workshop for people who've just moved into or are about to move into training. Okay, that's one thing. There's a lot of it for people who are newbies to training, who just moved in. But at the same time, we haven't left out those people who are experienced trainers. Okay, we have had quite a few experienced trainers who attended this workshop and benefited from it. So the point is that you will learn a lot of things from this workshop, which will help you handle critical training situations. Some of which are, one of them is handling the entire consulting, the training consulting piece of work. So, for example, just the training delivery is becoming a very small piece of the puzzle nowadays. What happens before that? What happens after that? So, that is something you'll be able to learn, understand, be able to use. Okay, from the initial conversation that you have with the client to what happens after you finish a training session. So all those things you can expect to see and learn about and be able to demonstrate after this. Also, we've looked at specifically about training delivery. What are the different formats of training delivery? That's one thing you will be able to learn in this workshop. How do you handle difficult questions, which I think is a very, as you said, is very important to handle as a trainer, and that to me is a critical training situation which you'll learn how to handle. You'll also learn how to handle something which we call a demo or a mock training session. If you go out and tell somebody that you're a trainer, one of the questions that will be asked is, what sort of trainer, and what's your area of training, and if you're good enough, why don't you come and do a demo for us? So we get all of our participants, every single person who comes for this workshop, to go through a capsule training module delivery, which is video recorded and which will be shared with you at a later point. Okay, so that's something which you will. So there are a lot of critical training situations that you will learn about. Laren, Vandita, can you suggest some names of training consulting companies in and around Delhi or NCR region? Well, Vandita, I don't think I will make that suggestion online. Okay, but having said that, most of the companies and most of the trainers who contact us, they find us online. Okay, and even most of you here, I'm sure at some point you searched for training companies online, you found us, and now you're attending this webinar. Some of you have attended our workshops and so on. So I would suggest, please go online, go to Google, and you can search for training companies in the Delhi NCR region. You will not miss it. There are quite a few of them. I would suggest call at least 20 organizations, then you will get positive responses from 10. You might be able to have sensible conversations with 5, and then be able to partner with 1 or 2. That's the kind of funnel that you can expect to see. Okay, so let's move. Let me move on to the next question. Oh, so interestingly, Vandita, the next question is from you. So I hope you can see your name here on the screen. Hi, would like to join. So Vandita, I don't know what this question means. If it means joining the webinar, you've already done that. If it means joining one of our workshops, so Vandita, I remember you attended one of our workshops in the past. I think you attended the Train the Trainer workshop in the past. What I would suggest, Vandita, if you have gathered, accumulated adequate experience, it's a great idea for you to attend a master trainer certification. We just finished the recent master trainer in Bangalore last week, and it was a fantastic workshop. Though we had a couple of dropouts, we had eventually about 10 or 11 people attending the workshop. So, if you have had enough training experience, I would suggest you come and attend the master trainer workshop. It's a 5 day certification program. It's quite different from the train the trainer certification. And if you when you attend it, at the end of it, one of the things that you can expect to take back is a level of mastery in training. Yes, I can see your question, Vandita. That does it happen in Bangalore? Yes, as of now, the master trainer certification is planned primarily in Bangalore. Okay, if we have enough demand from other cities next year, that's in 2018, we will probably roll it out in other cities. But as of now, the plan is to have it in Bangalore. Okay, and of course, it's a very elite group that gets to attend this workshop. It's people with training experience, people who've had exposure to training, not just that, people who have taken their field of training to some level of mastery. So even the quality of people you will attend the workshop with will make a lot of difference for you personally. Okay, let me move on. Kalyan Patibandla. So Kalyan, the question is, how can I make most out of this program? So, Kalyan, I'm glad you've decided to attend the workshop and make the most out of it. Here are some things that will help. One thing which will help is for you to, first of all, keep yourself blocked for the workshop. So, I presume you're attending the foundation course and the train the trainer, or one of them. I think you should block your time for the workshop because attendance is one of the criteria for certification. It's not the only criterion. There are a range of criteria for certification, and attendance on all 4 days is one of them. The second thing which I would recommend strongly to get the best out of this workshop, it would do you good to read about the field of training, go online, read some articles, watch some TED Talks, also talk to people who are already trainers and maybe your colleagues and so on. So that's one of the things that you can do. The third thing which I would strongly recommend for you to get the best out of this workshop is to have conducted at least a few training programs, because while we have had a lot of freshers and even people who've done MBA with a specialization in training and development, even such people have attended this workshop. Psychologists have attended this workshop. People with PhDs in various fields have attended this workshop. I would suggest that if you have training experience, it's an add-on. It's not a must, but it's definitely an add-on for the train the trainer certification. And if you do that, you'll probably be able to ask the right questions, have the right doubts in your mind. You'll probably be able to get a more realistic sense of what it's like to be a trainer. And once you've done that, then when you attend the train the trainer, you will, for example, I'll just give you an example of how questions could vary. Somebody who has zero training experience might ask a question like recently, the last train the trainer which I did, there was somebody who did not have any training experience, just planning to enter training. And this lady was asking this question of, do companies actually invest so much in training? Now it's fair enough, and I think it's a very valid question. As a trainer, you need to know the answer to that. Okay, and of course, there are a lot of companies who invest a lot of money into training. Even so, training is still, in my view, a nascent market in India. There's still a lot of work to be done and a lot of growth potential for training. To give you an example, if you walk into a shop in a bookstore in a big city in the sense, in a hot training market like Bangalore, you will still see only a small shelf of training books. But in a place like Singapore, which is such a small country, you walk into a bookstore, you will find an entire huge section of training books, markers, training accessories, whiteboards. and different things which are related to training. This shows the maturity of the training market in a place like Singapore. So I think there's a lot to be done in training. And if you're an experienced trainer, obviously you will be able to ask very specific questions. Like recently, there's somebody who said, I did a training, it was for a senior group, they were all vice presidents, and they were not willing to listen to me because they were much older than me. They were, what do you do in this sort of a situation? So these are some ways for you to get the most out of the workshop. Kalyan, I hope that helps. Kalyan, I don't know. I'm saying that I hope that helps, but I don't see you here. I don't see you as part of this webinar. Okay, but this is going to be recorded and shared with those who were unable to make it. Okay, Ramya. Ramya, the question is, does Train the Trainer program only aim to provide a certification, or will it also help us to start our career as trainers by referring us to corporate training companies and organizations? How sure are the chances of getting a job after being trained? So, Ramya, I hope you like honesty, because one of the things that I try to follow in most of the corporate work that I do is to be honest, sometimes blatant and upfront about what people need to hear. So, Ramya, one thing which I can tell you for sure, if you're looking for job or placement, this is not the place to be. We are a training company. We are not a placement organization. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, the fact that you're asking this question suggests that you're wanting to know about how the certification is going to help you. So here are some things which I'd like to share. One is the certification definitely helps, and it has a certain brand value. We Bodhi has worked with over 1,000 clients. Okay, well over 1,000 clients. If you go to our website, you'll find a dynamically updated list of clients who we worked with. All these people will recognize our name because we've directly done work for them. And when we've done work for them, we've done training work. Okay, we are not an organization which is into catering or which is into hospitality. So the people who we would have spoken to are likely to be from HR or L&D. And if you are as a trainer approach a company, you will be talking to HR and L&D. They would recognize our name and they would recognize the fact that you have a certification from us. The third thing which I'd like to say is, even the people we haven't done workshops for, we have, there's a huge sales funnel in any organization. If you want to work with one client, you should speak to 20, as I just suggested to you. So if we have worked with more than 1,000 clients, we would have spoken to at least 20,000 clients. And out of these 20,000 clients, at least 10,000 clients would be people who we directly interacted with or interacted with regularly. And out of these, at least 5,000 6,000 clients will know our names. So those people will recognize your certification. But after all this, the most important thing is, how will the certificate help you? We do not, to answer the first part of your question, does it only provide a certification? No. It also provides a certification, but what it mainly provides is an enhancement of competence. What you can expect to see is to become a better trainer. Definitely. This is something that we can promise you. Anuradha, please mute yourself. Let me mute you. Okay. So you can expect to see an enhancement of training competence. So imagine, Ramya, if your husband was the training head of a
Hello.
company, if your husband was the training head of a company, he might call you for one program. But if you do that program badly, it'll, even though it would be in his interest, it would be impossible for him to call you back, because people would say, "Hey, we told you Ramya is not a good trainer. Why is she here again doing a program?" So that's something that we assure you, that we focus on equipping a person, empowering them to do top class training programs. That's the focus of our workshop. And how sure are we about chances of getting a job? Well, we are as sure as anyone can be in any other field. Well, any course you do, any degree you do, there are people who passed out of the best B schools who are still looking for jobs. Okay, but having said that, we understand what it takes to find a good quality job in any field, and we share with you the secrets of marketing yourself and finding the right kind of work. And if you follow what we say, I think almost without doubt you will be able to find the right kind of job which suits your taste. And there's one more part of your question. Do we refer you to training companies? No, we do not do that. But here's what we do. We refer training companies to you, Bodhi actually anchors three WhatsApp groups. The maximum number of people you can have in a WhatsApp group is 256. So Bodhi hosts about three such groups. Two groups are completely full. The third group has about, I think, 150 people or so. And every day you will find opportunities in this group, in these groups, which tell you some companies looking for a trainer, there's some person who's looking for an independent consultant. So there's all kinds of work. So we refer companies to you, which makes your life easier to be able to find the kind of job that you want. Okay, so let me move on. Gayatri, which type of training should give us? So, Gayatri, I'm really sorry I can't answer this question. I don't know what this question means. Let me take a sensible guess. Which type of training should give us? I think you mean which type of training should give us value. Okay, I see somebody, Anuradha. Anuradha, you need to just mute yourself and ask your question on the chat screen. I'm watching the chat screen. Good morning to you. Okay, so I'm guessing, Gayatri, that you're asking which type of training would benefit you, okay, or should you attend? See, if you have zero experience in training, no background in training, you want to really just find out what it's about, please attend the foundation course. It will give you a lot of fundamentals about training. But having said that, we have had enough participants who attended the train the trainer first and then come back and attended the foundation course, because I don't want you to equate it to something like the chartered accountancy foundations in India. Foundations here means the fundamentals. So there are a lot of people who become trainers without understanding the fundamentals. So you can always attend the training foundation course. If you have some amount of experience in training, I would recommend you attend both the foundation and the train the trainer. Okay, and if you're an experienced trainer, if you have a lot of experience in training and you're wondering what to do next, please attend the master trainer certification. If you're a domain expert who's written a book on your field, like we met somebody who's written a book on marketing, then and you're wondering how to take your marketing knowledge and make it into training programs, you can attend the master trainer certification. So Anuradha, your question, I'm very much interested in training program and want to start work immediately. So how do I go about it? Anuradha, you should attend the train the trainer certification. Don't think about it, just do it. You will definitely be able to enter the field of training without much without much confusion in your mind, and it's also a place for you to get all your questions answered. Okay, let me move on to the next one. So Samuel, you have a rather long, elaborate question. I'm not going to read it out here in the webinar, but I kind of understand what your background is. I will leave this question on the screen for other people to read. Okay, so I really like the I like the honesty of this question. So Samuel, your wife is currently working with a corporate, and she suggested that you should get into learning and development. And your real question is uh, the possibilities after doing a program about your growth prospects. So first of all, I want to tell you a few things, Samuel. I want to tell you some things which will really, really, really benefit you. One thing which I want to tell you, Samuel, you have past experience in the jewelry industry. It doesn't matter. Training is a field unlike many others where you will get to learn a great deal by attending this workshop. And not just that, you will get to use your past experience. Imagine you are a jewelry designer for, suppose you are a jewelry designer for 20 years. Now you suddenly become a copywriter in an ad agency. You have to actually start from scratch. You have to start from zero. There is no other way out. But in the field of training and coaching, you always have the option of using a lot of your past experience. If you've been a designer for 20 years, let me tell you how you will use your past experience. Like in your case, you say that you have worked in, uh, for me, okay, I've been working in the jewelry business for over about 3 years. Okay, I want to change my line. 3 years is a lot of time. So Samuel, one thing which you would benefit from, if you become a trainer, you can offer your services back to the jewelry industry. There are so many jewelry companies, and jewelry companies have money. Do you see the kind of people who they hire for their training? I mean, for their advertising, they hire people like Deepika Padukone, they hire people like Aishwarya Rai, they hire the best celebrities. And how are they able to do it? They have money to pump. which means they have money to pump even to train for training. When there's a recession, okay, advertising budgets are the first ones to reduce. And if a company is able to advertise, that means they have money also to train. So here's what I suggest. If you attend a workshop, you will be able to use all your past experience to first of all offer your services back to the jewelry industry. Apart from that, as a result of working in the industry, you would have gained a lot of experience of people interaction, managing people, working with others, interacting with others, office politics, maybe even interpersonal skills, communication skills, sending emails, receiving emails, whatever it is. All this can be brought to life when you do a training program. So it's going to help you through that, and it's going to help you with all the other things that I told you. There's a lot of possibility. India has one of the youngest workforces in the world. Countries like even the US and China are aging. We have among the youngest workforces in the world. In the next 20, 30 years, we will be one of the biggest providers of manpower, provided these people are trained. If they're not trained, we will have more, let me not say anything, we'll have more problems. So there's a huge training potential, Samuel. I think you would benefit by attending a workshop. So think about it. Okay, Radha Krishna Molluru. So Radha Krishna, I think I saw you here. I think I saw your name here. Mm, 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 mm. Yes, you are here. So Radha Krishna, here's your question. Is DDU GKY training covered? So DDU GKY is a very specific government scheme. Okay, that's the Dina Dayal scheme. So here's what I have to say, Radhakrishna. We will not be covering something specifically related to that. That's a very specific scheme. It's like Teach India. Okay. So our focus is on making you a better trainer, irrespective of the kind of background that you come from. So how will this program help you? Will this program help you? It will help you a great deal to become a trainer in DDU, in Teach for India, in what do you call, that skill building scheme which Modi launched, Skill India, the Skill India scheme. And also if you want to become a corporate trainer, a trainer for NGOs, a teacher at a B school, okay, you could also, there are people who finished this workshop. I mean, I remember one gentleman who came for a workshop. He's got a PhD in fisheries. He finished this workshop and he went back, and his job was to work on the coast of Andhra Pradesh educating shrimp farmers, and that's what he's been doing. So for any kind of work, this program will help you. No questions there. And if you're planning to get into one particular government scheme, yes, you will have a lot of potential to do that. Even there are some people who attended this workshop who later told us this would match so well with NSDC. NSDC is the National Skill Development Council, so you'll also be able to use it for that. The applications could be diverse, but the focus is on making you a better trainer. So the focus, in training, you have two things: what to train and how to train. So this workshop is about how to train better. That's the focus of this workshop. Thank you for your answer, Vinesh. Yes, Radhakrishna, I'm glad your question is answered. Next, Dakshin. So Dakshin, your question is, the present days, the most fundamental dimension of knowledge sharing are not taking place. What shall we do to ensure the knowledge sharing is full and satisfactory? So Dakshin, I appreciate the fact that there are people like you who feel so strongly about these causes. I don't know if this is true everywhere, Dakshin, but I understand your sentiment, and it is true in many areas where people need to focus more on knowledge sharing. In fact, not just knowledge sharing, knowledge sharing is one thing, but people need to focus on something beyond that. And let me tell you, our workshops don't just focus on knowledge sharing. It focuses on skill building. It focuses on competency development. That's the focus of our workshops, not just knowledge sharing. So here's what I suggest to you, or here's what I can tell you. People, like, I remember two people when I did the program once in Hyderabad. They attended the training foundation course and the train the trainer. They have both been trainers for about 20 plus years. They came for the workshop, And during the expectation setting, they said, I've attended this, I've been a trainer for 20 years. Another guy said, I've been a trainer for 23 years. I don't know if I'll learn anything from this workshop. I've done so many trainings. Now I'm sitting in a training. I don't know if I'll learn anything. I just came because it's nice to attend workshops and see what's happening. I said, no problem. I appreciate that you came. And at the end of the workshop, not only in the end, after about half a day of the workshop, they both came to me and said, you know what? We are realizing that we've been doing everything wrong for 20 years. Now we are opening our eyes to what's the right way to do things. So there's a lot that can be done, and the whole element, what makes training is skill building and competency enhancement. That's how it's different from teaching. There are some fields where there's nothing much to teach. Like if I have to just tell you about global warming, what it is, I can only teach you. There's nothing to train you on. But on the other hand, if I have to make you a person who would do things which would save the environment, I would probably have to train you. And that's what training is all about. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions here. Okay, so what else do I have to say? The next question from Honey Roy. Honey, you say that the question you have is you want to become a trainer. Okay, one second. There's somebody who's unmuted. Okay, so your question, I want to become a CEO level train the trainer. So I mean, I'm just trying to understand this question, Honey. So, Honey, I hope the question is you want to train CEOs or people at the CEO level, not that you want to do CEO level, train the trainer. So, let me tell you both things. If you mean training CEOs, yes, one of the things that we equip you to do in the train the trainer is to create and deliver, to design and deliver training programs which will appeal to an audience of any level. Okay, whether they're freshers, whether they're directors of companies. That's something that we can that you learn through this program. The second thing, which the larger point which I want to make is that by attending this workshop, you will also learn a lot of things about how to appeal to an audience of any size, and that's something which you will gain experience about, because irrespective of your topic, senior people are senior people. They come with certain mindsets. Come with certain amount of experience. They have certain expectations from programs. Attending this workshop will help teach you on how to handle those things. And also, if you attend a master trainer certification, one of the things that master trainers do is train other trainers. And that's one of the things we certify you for. So if you attend the master trainer certification, and by the way, you can only attend it if you have a certain amount of training experience and exposure to training. We have a set of criteria for attendance, and at some point our team can run you through it if you want to get in touch with them. But the point is, if you have attended that workshop, you can also train the trainers for trainers who are training CEOs. Okay, so that's something that you can think about. Nidhi, the question is, what would be the certificate content? So, Nidhi, well, I have a certificate lying here. I want to just read out to you what the certificate says. It says a lot of things, by the way. Before I even read this out, let me reiterate the focus of our workshop is not just to give you the certificate. The focus is the certificate, stands for something. The certificate says something about who you are and what you can do. That's what we want to focus our energies into when we run the workshop. But to answer your question directly, this is what the certificate has. It says Bodhih hereby certifies that your name, okay, Nidhi, has successfully completed the course of study and has consistently demonstrated the highest degree of competency, which encompasses knowledge, skills, attitude, and behavior, to be certified by us. as in this case as a master trainer, and you have a master trainer license number, and if you go to our website, if you enter your license number, you will get to see, what should I say, when you got certified, which batch you were in, did you get certified or not. Your entire certification details will be there. Okay, it's something that we do so that even clients abroad, some of our participants train in Dubai, Thailand, Singapore, US, Russia, and so on. So even people in other countries can check the validity of your certificate. And of course, it will say, depending on the program, it will say what all you've been certified for. If you attend the train the trainer, you'll be certified for training need analysis, design, development, delivery of training programs, customization of training, implementation, and ensuring monitoring training effectiveness using accelerated learning. So it depends upon what exactly which program you attend. Okay. But just to tell you, the training foundation course has a certificate of completion. The train the trainer certification and the master trainer certification are certification workshops, which means the certificate you will get is not just a certificate of attendance or participation, it's a certificate of competence, saying that you have demonstrated competence and Bodhi certifies you. And that those certificates actually hold more water and more value in the market. Okay, let me move on to the next. We just have about 15 minutes. Okay, Ninzi Shaju A. The question is, I want to know about finding work after the completion of this course. So, Ninzi, I've told you about this. We will be covering clear modules on how to market yourself. We have studied the most successful trainers in the market and we'll be sharing their secrets with you. We have also seen repeatedly participants who attend our workshops, including freshers, somebody who's just finished an MBA, zero work experience, have come for a workshop, finished it, and then found a training role. So while we are not a placement company, because of how competent you become and who you become after our workshop, you might find a job anyway. So that's not something you should worry about. Mithun MV asks, will the second level course help me in becoming a trainer for any corporate industry or even to train people in public as freelance or skills trainer? So, Mithun, the first, second, and third level program, any of them will help you do this. But you need to decide at what level you want to do this. If you want to do this at a very fundamental, basic level, where you just want to start training, then you can do the training foundation course, or maybe you can just do the train the trainer. If you want to do this, if you're seriously thinking about, I mean, I would recommend for anybody who's contemplating a career in training and development or L&D or perhaps even in HR, they should attend both the training foundation course and the train the trainer. They would really benefit from it and see a clear difference in their ability before and after attending a workshop. So I would strongly recommend you to attend the foundation course and the train the trainer. And if you are a person with enough training experience, I think you should go ahead and attend all three. Because I see repeatedly people asking me, should I attend this program? Should I go abroad? See, if you have the potential to invest 10 to 15 lakhs, please go abroad and do a great course. But I'm saying we are anyway rated among the top 7 programs in the world, and we are available in India. There's nothing stopping you from attending it. Next question, Malvika Sinha. Malvika says, how to be a corporate trainer? Myself, a beginner coming from psychology master's background and wish to pursue a career in soft skills training. So, Malvika, first of all, let me tell you, your situation is not unique. We meet many participants like you. There are several psychologists, people with PhDs in psychology who have attended our workshops. Why have they attended it? Because they realize, and by the way, Malvika, you could be at a clear advantage. The fact that you have a background in psychology will only add value to your training. When I moved out of the mechanical engineering field into training, I had to literally re-educate myself in psychology. And I studied psychology both formally and informally, and I'm still doing research with the university in the US. But the point is, this is a great place to bring your past education and background to life. And if you've been a practicing psychologist, if you were seeing clients, even better. Because at the end of the day, when you're doing a training program which is one to many, or you're doing a one-on-one counseling session, people are people, and you can tap into that experience and capitalize on that. The other thing is, don't worry about the fact that you don't have, that you're a beginner and so on. Like I mentioned repeatedly, there are people with zero experience who've come to our program and have been able to make it into the field of training. Okay, so somebody who has a strong educational background uh, can come to the workshop, attend it, and move into the field of training. And not just that, we've also had people who haven't had a proper schooling, but who've done some vocational training and become, like we had this guy who came from the Middle East. He works for an oil plant there, and he's into piping. So I think after class 10, he did some piping thing, and he went there, and he made a lot of money making working in the Middle East, and now they made him a trainer. So he came to attend a workshop just to be able to understand how do you train somebody well. And even such people have benefited from our workshop. So this is universal. The more you know, the more you experience, more experience you have, the more you might take back from the workshop. But if you know, if you're a fresher just out of college, you will still take back enough from the workshop, because it will be a huge eye opener for you. Next, Sangeeta Priya. Okay. Regarding body language, self motivation, spontaneously answering, wide knowledge. Okay, so Sangeeta, I'm guessing that your question is, do we cover all this? Yes, the like I mentioned, the workshop is about how to train, not about what to train. We expect you to already know, have some interest in some field, or be an expert in some field, or maybe plan to enter some field. Okay. And even if you don't plan to enter, we will give you a lot of clarity on what might be a good field for you by having some conversations with you, giving you some general direction and so on. But the focus of this workshop is on how to train. What is how to train? It is about body language. It's about how you stand and present, how you speak to people, what kind of language you use. In fact, not just body language, it's also about actual spoken language, self motivation. We pay a lot of emphasis on how, as a trainer, you need to walk the talk. You need to be what you're trying to train other people on. Spontaneously answering. In fact, we have an entire section on handling questions. People who find it difficult. One of the things that most trainers dread is, what if somebody asks me a difficult question and I can't answer it? One of the things that trainers dread. We have a section which covers exactly that, where we share with our participants how to answer difficult questions asked by any audience. Or, to put it bluntly, how to handle a difficult audience. And that's something uh, that you'll learn a great deal from by attending this workshop. And wide knowledge. So let me share with you, as far as how to train is concerned, you will definitely gain a lot of insight, and on you learn a lot of new things. There are no questions there. Specific knowledge you will gain on different dimensions of what it takes to be a successful trainer in the industry. Okay. Suhaib, Rajesh, Sarthi, hi. So this is a question from Rajiv. Hi, I'm already into full-time freelance training since 2 years, even certified by some training organizations, but need to sharpen and equip myself as per industry needs, and to uh, comprise reasons to be more competent. So I'm just planning to attend foundation TTT. Give me some time to get practice, like working myself on the same, and attend for TTT workshop. Please guide. Uh, okay, so Rajiv, I think your question is pretty fair. I have a suggestion for you. You can, if you have a financial crunch, if you just can't afford it, okay, then do what you're planning to do. That is, attend the, by the way, for those of you who are not looking at the chat screen, and I'm answering one of the questions on the chat screen, which is put up by my teammate Suhaib. I'm sure this question has been pulled by Suhaib from the from our website, because there are people who are still putting up questions. So thanks Suhaib for sharing that. So the so to Rajiv, here's what I'd like you to do. If you can't afford it, if you don't have money with you, and you can only attend the foundation course, please do that now. Okay. If you can attend it, do not worry about. I mean, if finance is not a problem, then I would suggest, Rajiv, do not think twice about attending both the TTT and the foundation course, because the train the trainer also tells you about the entire training cycle. Foundation course is focused on training delivery, but the train the trainer tells you about, even for example, if I go to a company, I'll be going for a meeting now. If I go to a company, I meet the person there, the HR manager. What is the first conversation that I have with that person? What questions to ask? How do I understand what's their requirement? Starting from there to translating that requirement into a design, to moving that design into actual delivery, and from delivery, I mean, making the content for it, delivering a good program, and finally reaching the stage of evaluation. It's the whole thing. So I think if you can afford it, I would recommend that you attend both the TTT and the foundation course. After that, if you want, you can take a break and then do the master trainer after a couple of months. I think that would be a good way to go about it. One more question. Please guide how TTT workshop and practice of the same, how it helps to expose myself as in the training career, taking to the next level of training. So, same question. I've told you that one of the things that it will help you do, most of our certified participants have become trainers who are different from the lot. And let me tell you, there are a lot of trainers out there, especially markets like Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, um, Chennai, Pune, Kolkata, and so on. Some of the bigger cities in India, there are quite a few trainers. What will make you stand out from the rest? What will make you stand out is your ability to produce results. And that's something that we cover in this workshop. And we equip you to be able to produce results. Sneha, how to train will be taken care of in the workshop. What about the what part? Any suggestions, any workshop for that? Okay, so Sneha, um, okay, in fact, let me just answer this question, Sneha, before I move to the last question. So, so Sneha, just to answer your question, yes, as you clearly said, the what to train part and the how to train part, we will be covering the how to train in detail. Okay, no questions there. As far as what to train is concerned, it's difficult to answer that question for somebody else. I can't tell you what you should be passionate about. It's almost like answering for somebody else what's the purpose of their lives. So what we do in the program is we give people an exposure to what could be their areas of expertise. We would ask them questions so that they reach within themselves and search for the possible areas which could be good training areas for them. Okay, we also try to help people out by giving them inputs on. There's a certain exercise that we do on the third day of the train the trainer, which will help you evaluate what could be your possible area of specialization. And by the way, this has also happened. There are some people who come for the program with clarity saying, oh, my expertise is IT because I've been in the IT field for 15 years and I want to become an IT trainer. Great. And then when they do this exercise, they suddenly realize I have I have been in IT, but my real expertise is not IT. My real expertise is that I get along well with people. People skills is my expertise. So that's also something which has happened in this workshop. So definitely we will be spending a lot of time to help you understand and give you suggestions on what to train area. And once you identify, then we can tell you what is the workshop. So your question about you know uh, any suggestions, any workshop for that? There's no workshop for that. But if you, for example, if you tell me one of our participants in the past, he sent us an email saying he wants to learn transactional analysis, and I just responded to his email in the morning. For transactional analysis, there are some certifications. But once you've identified what is your area, then you can get certified in that area. If you say, I want to become a trainer on lateral thinking, for lateral thinking, there are some certifications. Okay, but without identifying that, it's difficult to say, what could be your area. Okay, let me just take the last question, which is by Rajesh Babu. What additional value does this certificate bring to a professional? And if a professional is an expert in his field, he can give training, then why the certification is needed? So Rajesh, your question is the opposite of Sneha's question. Sneha says, I want to learn how to train better, but I don't know what to train on. Okay, you are saying you're already a professional and you have a clear area of expertise. Why do I need this program? Both are required. Okay, there are many people, Rajesh, there are many people out there who have written books. They have written books on certain fields. For example, there's a book called The Art of Thinking Clearly. It's by a guy called Rolf Dobelli. Now, that book became so popular that Rolf Dobelli is getting invited by companies across the world to come and give them a lecture, give them a talk, or give them a small training on how they can think clearly, right? So, my suggestion to you is, and of course, I'm sure Rolf Dobelli's facilitation skills, his training skills, his ability to impart his public speaking skills actually come into the picture. Imagine this. Imagine you're an expert in a field, like you're a great expert when it comes to communicate, say not communication, you're a great expert when it comes to problem solving, and you're great at solving problems, and you can sit in a room and solve any problem by getting the problem in front of you, writing it down. You have your own techniques, but you have a great fear of public speaking. What happens is, unfortunately, your problem solving ability will not be taken to light, will not be shared effectively with others because you're afraid to speak in public. You can only share it one person at a time. Okay, so that's the importance of the how to train area. Just like that, if you're an expert in a field and you're a professional, you need a training to share your expertise. And in fact, the world is filled with people who are great in their field, but they're not great trainers. And every now and then I meet some people who come into our office and say, oh, I was the vice president of a company. I did this kind of work. I did that kind of work. I used to, I'm sure I can train anybody to do this. Finally, when they actually start training, we always suggest to them, we say, you are great in your field. You're a telecom expert, but please go through a train the trainer so that you learn how to train. We know you're very good at what to train, but you should also learn how to train. Finally, they do programs which are so heavy, so dull, so boring. Participants fall asleep. They get low feedback. They do this for 1 month, and then they realize that they don't want to be trainers. So they leave training altogether as a field and they move to something else. Please don't get into that risk. I would suggest you enter training after having the proper, certification, and you yourself getting trained first. This is a good way to enter the field of training. Okay, if you do this, then you will be able to enter training and become a good successful trainer. So that's what I suggest. So folks, I think that's all I have to say. I hope you found the session interesting. I've answered all the questions so far. If there's any other question that you have, please put it up on the chat screen. I will be here for another 5 more minutes. In the meantime, I'll just put our contact details on the screen. Here you go. You can contact us if you want to register for the program. I think there are a couple of more seats left. There are 1 or 2 more seats left for the December Train the Trainer and Foundation course. So those of you who want to register for the program, get in touch with us as soon as possible so that we can block a seat for you. And if you have any questions, put it up on the chat screen. I'll be waiting here. Thank you very much. Otherwise, the rest of you're free to leave. Have a great day. Have a nice rest of the week. I shall see you in the workshop or in the next webinar. Thank you very much. Those of you who have questions, please put it up on the chat screen. I'm here for 5 more minutes.